Dear Jasmine, I'm writing this letter to you when you were 16. At this age, you were full of optimism and excited for the things you could do. When you turned 16, you realized you were of age in order to get a job. You wanted a job because getting a job would help your mom relieve some stress from having to pay for all your needs, and you were also able to save money to get a job or to get a car. As you began to look for the job, you started to realize that you weren't getting one. While you had the same credentials as other Caucasians in your classmate, they were getting the job and you weren't. Now, in an African American class in college at 22, I've learned that was due to white privilege. White privilege is socially privilege that benefits whites in social, political, and economic circumstances. White privilege is the idea that just by being a white person of any kind, you are in a group of people who tend to be respected, assumed the best, and given the benefit of the doubt. No matter how hard working, smart, or wealthy you are still looked at as just another African American, and the job would be better given to a Caucasian. In an article I read in my African American class called White Privilege, Unpacking the Invisible Knapsack, the author describes it as a set of unearned assets a white person in America can count on cashing in each day, but to which they remain largely oblivious. We also talked about an article called How to Be Black. This was a book by Barton Thurston, where he discusses 3 moments of black awareness and includes some stories from others. This got me to realize that in a moment in my life of a black awareness was when I wasn't receiving that job that all your friends were getting. In an article I found that I want to talk to you about was called Unemployed Black Woman Pretends to be White. Job offers suddenly skyrocket. This woman decided that she was going to pretend to be both black and Caucasian with the same credentials on a website. She was given both profiles, the same information, and the same background. Yet she only received calls for the white profile, not the black. She quickly began to realize this was due to white privilege as well. I also want you to realize that you are being treated as invisible too. Invisibility is defined as an inner struggle with the feeling that one's talents, abilities, personality, and worth are not valued or even recognized because of prejudices or racism. As you drive around to find a job or after school, realize that many employers saw you as just a black girl who, for whatever preconceived ideas, didn't deserve the job because you were black. I've learned from my African American class that being invisible happens often to those of color. In an article called Invisibility Syndrome and Racial Identity Developed in Psychotherapy and Counseling African American Men by Anderson Jackson Franklin, he particularly talks about how it affects men, but I have come to realize that I have felt some of the things that men in this article did, knowing much about why I was feeling that way. Now I can tell you that you felt more stressed out because of the situation you were in and the racism towards you. Franklin says one feels a lack of recognition or appropriate acknowledgement, one feels that there's no satisfaction or gratification from the encounter, one feels self-doubt about legitimacy, all things I know you feel as you try to find a job and they pass you over for the Caucasian students. From this class, realize that you are not the only one going through this kind of situation. I know, although it feels that way due to the history of race, many African Americans are just treated as less than. where I looked at it as not being good enough or smart enough. African Americans are judged of the color of their skin because of our nation was founded on race. In an article called History of Race, Europeans believed that they were superior to other races and attempted to prove the inferiority of other racial groups by ignoring the achieved levels of learning, wealth, community, and established spiritually of Native African American civilization. This has not changed in the idea that no matter how successful you are, how smart or wealthy, people still judge you on being African American. Unfortunately, because we all still see color, first, there will be other job opportunities that will be given to Caucasians over you. My advice to you that is don't be discouraged, because although at this age it seems like you can't get far without a job, and continue to strive to get where you want to be in life. Today you are a supervisor at UPS. I know you might think this is not much of a stepping stone you reach, but it's not much of a stepping stone, but it is. You reach that will move you further in life. Please don't be discouraged by those that feel you are nothing but just another African American young woman. You're more than that, and continue to grow. Although it is upsetting that white privilege, the history of race, and invisibility have all been issues in your life, and will continue to probably be issues in your life, look past it and realize that we have come a long way and have much more to strive for. I hope that at 16 you weren't too discouraged by not getting that job. Like I said, that other African American woman who did the experiment to see if she would get a job versus the white person realized too that it's not just her. Many people were going through that, and she felt discouraged because she wasn't getting the job. As you felt the same way, life made you feel like you weren't good enough. Never let life or those who discourage you do that to you again. Thank you.